Our first step in lighting the torch is to turn the taps that are attached to the bottle on 1/3 of a turn. The oxygen 1/3 of a turn, the acetylene 1/3 of a turn. Now remember our old saying, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. A couple of other safety points I want to point out when using oxyacetylene. One, make sure that the bottles are always on a carriage. Two, of course we're using a long lead, only use the appropriate length of lead of hose that we require, because it can become a trip hazard. Make sure there is no flammable material around our work area. Make sure we have a nice clean working space. Never lay your oxyacetylene bottles down. It has a liquid in the bottom, it's called acetone. If we lay the bottles down, that can seep into the regulators and cause an explosion. So they should never ever be laid down on the ground. They should always be stored on a carriage. Step 2 in setting up your oxyacetylene bottles is 1, hold your torch. I hold it in my left hand. That leaves my right hand free to do the adjustments with the taps, with the oxyacetylene and oxygen taps. The next step is we have to set the regulators to the pressure that's required for the brazing process. Now the pressures are 50-50, 50 kPas of acetylene, 50 kPas of oxygen in equal amounts. Now we have an example here of 2 different types of regulators. This regulator is colour coded. It has a green zone for welding, a blue zone for cutting, and a yellow zone for heating. When we're brazing, it's not rocket science. Okay, we have different types of tips. The tip we're using today is a number 8 tip. If we're doing smaller work, we'll go a smaller tip, possibly number 2, number 1, if it's for jewellery work. A bigger job, we'll use a bigger tip number, 10, 12, 14. Also, when we're setting our gauges for the brazing, which is in the green zone, will be set higher for a bigger tip, lower for a smaller tip. Now for the process we're doing, we're going to use a number 8 tip, and we're going to set our oxygen and acetylene at equal amounts at 50 kPa. Now to do that, our regulators, the red one is acetylene, the black one is oxygen. We wind the regulators in clockwise, in a clockwise direction. That opens up the valve inside, and then that allows the pressure from the bottle to flow through the gauge so we can get a reading. So we wind the regulator in, the tap. You can see the needle moving up to 50, stop. Do the same on the other side. To your oxygen, wind the regulator in. To 50, stop. Okay, now the final adjustments, we just crack our taps open on our torch. We'll do the acetylene first, it doesn't matter which one you do. So I'll do the acetylene first, I'll crack it open 1/3 of a turn, do my final adjustment, turn the tap off. It is very important that we remember to turn that tap off, because we have gas coming out the end if we don't. Crack our oxygen tap on, wind in till we get to our 50. Shut it off. Okay? We now have our pressures set at 50 kPa on each bottle. We are now ready to light our torch.